Napolitano here with Top Trading Pros. I hope everybody is having a fantastic day. It is a Friday, and one of the things I spotted yesterday, which I kind of was looking at, was a stock called Beyond Meat. It was actually 2 days ago. And a lot of students asked me about this, about how to trade with a smaller account. I think that's a great question. I think there's a misconception out there that you need this massive account size in order to trade options. And that is certainly not true. There's different strategies you can do with a larger account size that maybe you can't do with a smaller account size. But that absolutely doesn't mean that you can actively trade options with a smaller account. I started with a smaller account. Everybody starts somewhere. So one of the things that I wanted to talk to you today in this video was an example of how you could potentially profit with really just a couple of $100 if you have a smaller account. I recommend having at least a couple of $1,000 to start with in an account, but I'm going to show you a trade where you could have theoretically traded it for a couple of $100. But that being said, like I said, it really depends on the strategy you want to do. But to have a basket trading strategy, which I teach at Top Trading Pros, you don't really need too much money. Now, the more money, the better, which means you could diversify a little bit more and add more things to your basket. However, you don't need to trade individual stocks when you're first starting out. One of the things that I teach my students intraday trading is you don't need to worry about individual names. You can trade the broad market indexes using options. You could use QQQ, SPY. Some of my students use SPX. And they select their expiration dates and their strike prices based on the rules that I teach them. So if you're interested in that kind of thing, check us out on these videos. Definitely like us on YouTube and follow this channel. But also check out our new website, toptradingpros.com. There's plenty of free content on there as well. And there is a link to sign up for further classes if it's something that might interest you. So that being said, I'm going to jump into a trade from May 10th. I'm going to show you guys Beyond Meat. So Beyond Meat reported earnings, and they were obviously not that great. The stock was down over 18% in one day. That's this last candle right here on the bottom. And that's what I'm going to kind of zero in on. Now, a lot of people say, well, I wish I had a crystal ball. I wish I knew ahead of time that Beyond Meat was going to underperform. But my answer to that is you can make money two ways into earnings. You could guess and kind of assume based on the downtrend here that was already going on into earnings that Beyond Meat was probably going to disappoint. It's been a very unfavorable stock in a very unfavorable sector. So if I had to take a bet, I would say that Beyond Meat was probably going to underperform going into earnings. There was a lot of hype on the stock a couple of years ago, and I think the air has certainly come out of the balloon on that. So, if I had to kind of do a coin flip, I would have said definitely be on the short side going into earnings on something like this. But I am going to show you a strategy where you don't need to guess. You don't need to guess the coin flip. You can theoretically go in here on the 5-minute chart, basically while earnings is going on. After the news actually came out, right here, I'm going to point this out to you. Let me just kind of make this a little bit bigger here so we could all see. I'm going to slide this over, get rid of this line here. And basically, this is Beyond Meat intraday after the news came out. So obviously, you can see the big drop was from here to here, while the news was going on. But you'll notice here that it really dropped quite a bit. And this is what I'm talking about. This is something you can trade intraday, and you could use it in the options market. You don't necessarily need to trade stocks and tie up all your different all your capital and stuff like that. So I use a simple VWAP strategy, which I teach in my classes, and it's kind of my line in the sand. Once it breaks VWAP, which is right here on my screen, it's this red line. What I'm going to basically do is go short. So if I had an option strategy, I would generally go out a couple of weeks on this, even though I'm only going to trade it intraday. We talk about theta decay in our classes and how it could affect your trade and volatility and stuff like that. If you want a more aggressive play, you would go closer in maturity, something I don't necessarily like doing. I'm definitely more on the conservative side when it comes to trading. I'd rather have a 20-30% on my option premium than to try to do 100 or 200 or 300%, which you often see these YouTube gurus bragging about. But what they're not bragging about are their losers. You know, when you have a 200% return on an option, you are taking an extreme amount of risk. And when you do that, you are either going to be a zero or you are going to be a hero, one of the other. So I'd rather have a little more consistency in my life. I don't know about you guys. So I generally stick to the further dated maturities. And I'm happy with this quick scalp intraday. Once it broke VWAP, it never looked back. You can see that if you would have entered the trade where I drew that circle right there, you would have simply done some put options, and you could have potentially held some overnight if you thought the trend was going to continue. Or if you basically wanted to do a quick intraday trade, you would have used the option market. Now just I mentioned a couple of $100. The at the money strike prices for these Beyond Meat put options were basically about $200 to $300, depending on what strike price you picked. So for $200 to $300, you would have maybe etched out something like a 20 or a 30% return on your money, and that's in one day. So if you had $1,000, you would have made $200. If you had $500, you would have made about $100 $150. So to me, that's consistency. If you have a smaller account size and you could start creating wealth, even if it's $50, $100, $150 a day, it doesn't sound like much, but if you could do that consistently over the course of several months, you're going to quickly accelerate your account. You're going to quickly grow your account. You could take on more trades and start doing even more strategies. So that is how you build up a small account. You start off small. You obviously are willing to replace that account. You're constantly saving money and adding to it, but you're also taking small bets and you are doing things that are intelligent, not these high risk, high reward trades. You're going to be taking lower risk, lower reward trades in the beginning in order to build up your account. So I hope this video was helpful. Like I said, please subscribe to this channel if you like my videos, if you like some of the advice that I've been giving you, some of the strategies we've been talking about on this channel. Please like and subscribe. Also, like I said, check out our website, toptradingpros.com. We just launched a brand new version of it. It has a ton of free content, and you could, again, sign up for classes and content if you choose to. Okay, so I'll talk to you guys soon. Please enjoy your weekend, everybody. I hope everybody has a safe, fun, and happy day. And let's be careful out there, okay? Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.